All right, so today is Monday. It is another beautiful day. And I know this past week and a half, we've been doing a lot of content, which I'm not mad about, but a ton of stuff with good old Miley over here. We've done all the brake stuff, we've done the Nürburgring and all that kind of stuff, mounted the tires, lots of stuff with this car. But getting to something different that we started on and kind of left off with a little bit, we are going to get back to working on the good old Savoy this week. Well, should I say Savoy, the V5 here, because this week, more specifically today and probably tomorrow, the V5 is coming out. Now, generally, I can have an engine out in one day, like pending hangups here and there, but this car is 4Motion, so I need to learn how to take off the drive shaft that goes to the rear of the car. But if everything goes smoothly, should be out today, possibly tomorrow. But let's get it. So I think the plan's gonna be to start the V5 for the last time. We'll get one final cold start with this car before the engine's out. I'm gonna spin the car around to the fronts over here and we'll pull the engine out this way, then probably just set it on the ground similar to how that one is right now, because Fabulous Manufacturing is actually sending me a really cool V5 engine mount to go on my stand. So once that shows up, we'll put this engine on the stand, start pulling it apart and do some maintenance stuff. But let's get our last cold start with the V5, at least for now. It's not gone forever, but at least for a little while. We now have a nice clear path to pull the V5 out. I've kept this battery disconnected, so I'm hoping that it's not dead. Last time I did this, it started up no problem, so see what we got. Please turn on. I don't feel like jumping in this car. All right, car. Please turn on. And hopefully you guys enjoy the last cold start for a little while. No! Why? One more go. One more go. Every time. All right. There she is, boys. This thing runs so smooth, like no chain noise, no weird sounds. It just idles perfectly. Let's get our last little drive and then it's coming out. It's gonna be so sick once we have the VR5 and the Savoy. Let's get our last little drive here. It still sounds kind of like a tractor at like low rev but high up, like woo, that 5-cylinder sound is epic. Yeah. Make sure everyone's awake today. All right, boys, she is in. I got her as far back as possible so the garage door still closes. And we have plenty of room up here to work, maneuver the engine stand, all that kind of stuff. But this is it. The car is warm. We'll give her her last few taps here before we yank her out of there. Let you hear it from like right here. It's such a good sound. Woo! All right, boys, and we'll turn her off. And that's it. Now she comes out. Actually, now she cools off a little bit and then she comes out. I'm not trying to go melting my arm in anything hot. All right, you guys, the car is cooled down and we are ready to begin. I have some lights set up here and here, and then also ones on the roof, so hopefully you guys can see everything we're doing. We're gonna do the same process as we did for the Mark IV, the junkyard. So thankfully, we pretty much got practice with the last VR6 out of the Jetta, so I pretty much know all the ins and outs for pulling a Mark IV engine out, but it's very similar to the Mark III process. The entire front end here comes off as one. Disconnects your coolant lines and your AC lines and your few bolts here, there, and there. And this one, and for the most part, this entire thing comes off as one piece, and then you work your way around slowly disconnecting everything from the body of the car that connects to the engine, and then the whole thing can't come out. You have axles down there also with its being 4Motion. We have the rear diff and the drive shaft that goes back, so that needs to come off. But for the most part, it's a very straightforward process to do. A little time consuming, but if you take your time, I usually go from left to right, and then to make sure everything is off, and it should come out with not too much difficulty. So first thing we're gonna do, get the car jacked up in the air, disconnect our coolant lines from our radiator here, and drain all the coolant out of the car. We've got the car up and secured on the jack stands. If you look under the car down here, this one actually has all of the plastic still. This one, the belly pan one, and then one on this side as well. I'm gonna go through and pull all these plastic cover pieces off first so I can get to the bottom of the radiator, and also the AC lines that go in right up here, and there's one also on the bottom side down there, and then we'll go ahead and start draining the coolant. Also, I can see a bit of a leaky oil pan, looks like, so we'll get that fixed once it's all out of the car. With all of this plastic now out of the way, we can see the bottom of the engine much better now, and it actually looks fairly clean, which is always good to see. So right here, this one is the bottom coolant line to our radiator. I'm gonna pull the one off, drain the coolant, and then right here is one for the AC line, and I showed you over here, right there is the other one. And then once those two are off and our bolts are off, and then I think it's one here, or this one here, and then one on that side, we should be able to pull the entire front end here off as one unit, same as the Mark III. And I'm sure there's a few other things I'm missing, some little connectors here and there, but for the most part, that should get the front end off. Also, pro tip, whenever I'm pulling an engine out of a car, there's tons of little pieces here and there. I always have some sort of bucket or container to make sure I can put all the parts that I pull off the car into one spot so I don't lose anything. And also, I have one designated spot for all my tools to get set back down, because it's very easy to lose everything in this process. So have a designated spot. I mean, as soon as you take one thing out the car, you're done with that tool, put it back in your spot so you don't lose anything, and then have a bucket to catch all of your nuts and bolts, and it makes this process a lot easier, and you'll find that you don't lose tools and spend 30 minutes looking for a socket that's fallen down here, and it's just a hassle. So designated spots makes things much, much easier. Coolant is now draining. Also make sure you have your cap off of here, that way you can get as much out of the radiator as possible. There'll still be some coolant in the system, but at least this way you can get majority of it out. We are moving right along, boys. The coolant is out, our AC lines are both off. All of these connectors here, there's 1, 2, 3 right there that are connected to the radiator and this little support. So those 3 are off. We have the headlight washers disconnected, which is back over here. This AC line is off. We have the 10 there and the 10 here. We have the top coolant hose off, and the hood latch cable is also off. I believe now it's just the 413s, and the whole thing should come off. Unless I missed something, but I don't think this one's undone. This AC line's not connected to the red support, I don't believe. I think that is it. Great success. First try, look at us go. We're getting better and better, boys. Now with the front end off the car, we can begin everything else. So basically with this process, you can start left, right, underneath the car, wherever you want to start, it doesn't matter. Just at the end of this, you have to make sure everything connecting the engine and trans itself to the rest of the car has to come off. Every AC line, power steering lines, any type of wiring, the exhaust header down there, the axles, the drive shaft, anything connecting this to the rest of the car must come off. It doesn't matter left, right, it's all gotta go. We're making good progress on the VR5 here. This engine is similar to the VR6 I just pulled, but also slightly different. I think because this car is all-wheel drive, they routed things a little bit differently. So like this power steering line right here, the one on the VR6 goes under the entire engine to the back, where this one actually goes up and does like 3 different like S curves and then goes over the trans back to the rack back there. So just a little bit different, but good progress. These are off, our lines off, our compressor are off. This is off, coolant lines off, fuel lines are off. And now I'm on this side getting some of the harness stuff pulled off of here. The shift linkage and the brackets already off of there. So good progress. Like I said, it's very similar to the VR6, but some things are a bit different. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the engine cover off and undo the coil packs and follow this line here, which goes over to this piece, I think. So just trying to get all this unsorted and off. Where the VR6 actually disconnected right over here is a little bit different than this one as well. Some of these lines run a bit further, like this one right here goes over to our alternator here, where on the other one I can actually leave this line on the car. So little things here and there, but we are making good progress. All right, check it out, boys. Little preview. Very soon, the VR5 will be in the Savoy. And also, I need a new engine cover because this one's a little bit broken. I need a fresh one. So for some reason, I was thinking this is more like a 12-valve VR6 in terms of how it's set up, but it's not. This is more like a 24-valve VR6 where you have the individual coil packs to each spark plug versus having the coil pack on the side. So on the coil pack ones, you actually just unplug and pull that portion of the harness off and leave the coil pack on with this. I need to unplug all of these and get all of the wiring through here from this one completely off of the engine because it's all hooked up to the rest of the harness. And then down here, I pulled this piece off to get behind it because there's one right here, one right there, one in the far back, and then this line that comes through to your alternator pull off as well. So like I said, this is more like a 24-valve VR6 than a 12-valve. So a little bit new to me, but we'll get there. Just finished pulling all the plugs off of each of the little coil packs here. This one was a giant pain because you see on the Mark IVs, they have this little bracket right here you're supposed to pull back. It lifts up inside and pulls off this little notch piece there, and then you can pull it off. They don't always work like that. They're kind of a pain. They really annoy sometimes, and they usually snap. But I got all 4 of them off. The last one here, you can see, the tab piece is actually broken. So it was clipped onto this with no way to actually lift it up. So I had to pull the entire coil pack out and go from the bottom side. I tore it up just a little bit, but it's fine. I'll see if he can replace one, if I can get a new one, because I don't want to have to do that again, because that was super annoying. But all those valves, and I can pull this entire rail off. It looks like I'm going to have to pull the intake manifold to get to all the connectors to the fuel injectors down here. Yeah, 24 valve, or well, this is a 20 valve, but it's not like a 24 valve. Way more in depth, way more things to pull off than like a 12 valve. We're getting there though. All of this has now been pulled off on top. So all the coil packs, this little plug that's way down the back of the trans, there's a little ground back here. There's this plug into the throttle body, this plug into something over here. Part is like secondary air. I don't know what it is, but that one's undone. This one, this is the secondary auxiliary pump. That one's undone. And there's this one, and there's one over here, right to that. I think it's a cam sensor possibly. I don't know. That one's off. So all of this stuff on top is off, and on this side, now I gotta pull the manifold off and do all the ones to the injectors. And then there's one over here that I already unplugged, and then one that goes all the way down to the very bottom where I can't even tell where it goes. But we're getting there. This one, I probably could have had this out today if it was a 12 valve. But like I said, it's a new engine to me, and there's just a lot more stuff to pull off on a 24 valve and a 20 valve than I realized, but it's okay. We're making progress, and I'm learning some new stuff, so it's all good. So to pull off this manifold, it looks like it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 possibly, and these two, of course, you probably can't get to because this is in the way, so you probably need to pull off the belts, move the alternator, then I can get to those two. But it looks like it's just that we're on the, well, all the Mark IV ones are just one piece, where the Mark IIIs are split half full. You have the upper and the lower. This is just one complete piece. So hopefully it's just those bolts, and maybe I can get to these two, but more than likely I need to move the alternator out of the way because Volkswagen. tell me how I just had to pull off the alternator, the compressor, the power steering pump, and the entire accessory bracket, because these last two bolts you cannot get to otherwise. Because how this bracket sits, I thought if you move the alternator out of the way, it'd be okay, but the bracket itself sits completely in front of those two bolts. You have to pull the entire thing off. The entire thing to get to those two bolts. How completely unnecessary. But now all the front bolts here are done. I still have a couple back here. I think there's one on this side that holds this up, and maybe one or two on this side, and then the whole thing should come off. But like, why? There is no reason for all that. Completely unnecessary. I mean, don't get me wrong, I need to pull this entire engine apart anyways. I just didn't feel like doing it just yet, but I guess we're ahead of the game now. Still stupid. So I've got this one on this side and one back here, which are the last two bolts that hold this thing in. So you can see it's very loose and moving, but now I have 47,000 hoses and things that are still on here. So once I get all these things off, then this can come out of my way. I tell you guys what, when they designed this engine, they said, they had a meeting. They all sat down and said, how many things can we possibly attach to the intake manifold to make whoever's pulling it off super frustrated? And they had these little like this one here, these little like pinch connectors, which in theory sounds nice. You just pinch it and pull it off, but they put it on the back side where you can't even pinch it, and it's frustrating. I mean, there's this hose, this thing, this whole thing's connected to it. Why is they have everything connected to this thing? And I just want it out. I just want it off. I really do. I do. I have to say the 12 valve is a superior engine. It looks better with a manifold, and there's far less things connected to it. Because this is just unnecessary. What am I hitting? I'm hitting something still. You're off, right? I think I need to pull this out. Okay, let's pull this out of the way. All right, so no, they have these little like push tabs on everything. There's a push tab holding, whatever, it's off. Okay, give me this. Give me this. I don't know what I'm connected on anymore. I just wanted to come out of there. There's so many things on this. There's wires and tubes and little like baffling things that I don't know what they do. I don't know what's stuck on. All the bolts are out, but I can't go far enough forward yet because there's 80 things back here holding it on. Aha! Okay, so what's still holding you? Like 17,000 more things. There's one more pinch tab thing back here, which now I can actually reach, thankfully. I thought I knew how to do these things, but then I don't think I do it at the same time, because you pinch and then you pull them off and they come off sometimes, and sometimes they don't. What is happening? You are the last one. I tell you what, I'm going to delete half this stuff. When this engine goes back in, you're not going to see 90% of these random little hoses and things. They're all going away. I don't know how this comes off there. Can I just pull on it? I want to snap it, but I also kind of do want to snap it, because why not? I don't know how this comes off here, to be honest with you. It's not like a pinch one. There's no like connector tab thing on it. How do you work? Also, they use so many different types of connectors. They have like the Mark IV oval style. They have the Mark III pinch style. They have pinch stuff with your hands. They have this thing. They couldn't decide what they wanted on these Mark IVs. Uh-oh, did I break it? I might have. I might just sacrifice it. I don't know what it is. I want it off. I can't. I think it's actually already broken. That's why I can't get it off. I think the pinch portion is already broken. Where's my smaller one? This is what today's been. Dealing with one connector for 30 minutes because I can't get it off or it's already broken. I don't know how you get off of there. I really don't. Up. Just keep spinning it. Ah, I did it. Did I break it? No. Okay. Okay. Give me this. Please tell me nothing else is connected to it. Off. No, there's more things. What else is holding you on? How? How many things can you possibly have? Is that a ground? Or, I don't know what that is. There's another thing on the bottom over here. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna let this clip run the entire length of it, however long it is, because you can see, like I said, it's a new engine for me, so I'm learning, but like, there's entirely too many things connected to this engine. There's just no need for all of this stuff. Okay, after this one, I'm hoping it should all come off. All right, Please. This is how long this has been a 4-minute clip. 4-minute clip for the intake manifold. Unnecessary as ever. I'm leaving it all in though. Some people said they want to see the process. This is the process. This is it. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're loving it. Okay. Screw out of the bottom side of the throttle body with a ground or something on it. I don't know what that is. Whatever. Get off. Off. Please give it. No, there's another one. Dude, how many things are... I've already pulled off at least 10. What is this? The breather hose? Can you just pull off, please? Did I break it? Okay. Nope, got another one. What is this? No, you're already off. Please let go. What else is there? There's another one on the bottom side too. Yeah, yo, when I tell you what, I'm deleting everything off of here because this is dumb. This is not an okay kind of thing. Can we roll you over? Okay. Okay. This is not necessary in the slightest bit. Please get off. Okay, is that it? Nope, there's another pinch one. Of course there is. Why would there be another one on the bottom side? Okay. How long is this? 5.5 minutes. I had to run inside and get a fresh battery because that last clip was so long it actually killed my battery. So this is where we're at as it stands right now. I think I'm gonna call it a day. For now it's getting kind of late. I'll come back tomorrow. Tomorrow we should just have unplugging the rest of this harness from the injectors here and whatever that thing is down the bottom. We have the 2 axles, the exhaust, the drive shaft, the heater core hoses here, and I think there's still one line to the trans for the fluid there. And after that, I think that is completely it. But yeah, this unnecessary to pull. I had to take off half the engine to pull off the manifold. So completely unnecessary, which is also why I say when you're doing an engine swap, if you can, take the time and do all the rebuilding stuff you want to do at this point when you're already pulling it apart versus in your car, because then it's just going to be a giant nightmare to have to pull your entire car apart just to do one simple thing. So we will do as much maintenance as I possibly can, probably swap the crack pipe out, oil cooler, all that kind of fun stuff. Just make sure it's good to go. And I don't have to do this ever again. On the 12 valves, it's so much easier, but like these 20 valves and 24 valves, there's just so much crap. Like, there's so much crap everywhere, and I just think it's unnecessary. So we're gonna go through and see what I can delete. I'm gonna delete as much as I physically can. That'll go away. This little spaceship ball thing will go away. It's gonna be a whole lot less when it goes into that car. But that's it for today's video. Hope you guys are excited for the VR5 swap. Tomorrow it should be out. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like on the video. It does help me quite a bit. Do not forget to be thankful for every single day. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.